Good morning, and welcome to Coolen's Morning Inspirations. This is your host, Michael Terrell, and today is February 6th. It's Tuesday, and I recently had encountered something, and it made me think about today's subject. And today's subject is listen to take in, not to respond. What I mean by that is, a lot of times that you're hearing somebody talking to you, and the whole time that you're sitting there while they're talking to you, you're more thinking about what you're going to say to that person more than understanding and listening to that person and understanding how that person feels about what they're saying and actually taking it in so you can actually feel the effect of what they're saying. That's how a lot of times arguments get created, because it's two people trying to force out what they're trying to say. It's not that they're upset at each other a lot of times. It's just that I have something to say and you're not listening, so let me talk louder to get it out. And then you're so upset, or you feel like they don't understand you so much to the point to where you're like, well, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say that. And you're not even hearing what they're saying. So if they told you right in your face a whole sentence, and then they told you to give me what I said back, a lot of times you can only give bits and pieces because you didn't take it all in. And that's where I see a lot of issues come in at, because they'll be like, you weren't listening to me. Yeah, I heard what you said. And then you might say like two things that person said, but you can't quote what they said because you didn't hear nothing really about what they said. So this is for me to tell everybody out there, listen. Sometimes it's critical, especially if you have children. You have to listen. You have to listen to your spouse. Sometimes your spouse is telling you something, and then when the end of the relationship comes and you're like, well, you never told me. No. You never listened. That's what it is. A lot of times your kids tell you that they don't want to go somewhere because they feel uncomfortable. But because you want to go out that night, or you want to go do something that day, or whatever the case may be, you're like, I don't care what you say, you're going. And you don't know that your child don't want to just straight up tell you why they don't want to go there, but there's some underlying reason why they don't want to be there. And you're so busy worrying about everything else that you're not reading between the lines. Listening is very important. I'm not the most religious, but I do know that when they say that sometimes you have to sit there and just not say nothing, not do nothing, and just listen, that is the only time that you will hear the most. Whether it be the message from the Most High, whether it be a message from somebody trying to talk to you, it could be a bum on the street. Listen. There's messages all over the place. And you can learn so much. Most people can't learn nothing because they too busy thinking that they know everything. You can't understand something because you feel like, I don't need to hear this. Listen. Don't go in the world always thinking that you're supposed to react. It's not about reacting. It's about being on top of the game. And sometimes if you listen, the game is being taught to you. And you ain't got to do much because it's coming to you. Prime example for once, right? It was a situation to where somebody's trying to teach me how to grow financially. And I'm sitting here telling them all the time that they don't know what they're talking about. And I'm missing out on so much stuff because they're like, look, you got to do it this way. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to. I hear you, but I don't want to. And that advice that they were trying to give me could have pushed me to do many things that I wanted to do back then. But because I felt like I knew it all, I didn't want to take in the information. And every time they gave me information, I was giving them information of why my suggestion was better. And so I missed out because we couldn't even come together. He could have had told me something. I could have just took it in and watched and seen and listened with patience and had a different scenario. But we don't. Sometimes your parents will tell you that they're not feeling well. Do you listen, or do you tell them what it might? It's just your sugar low. Oh, it's just because you ain't rested. Are you really listening to say that they hurting somewhere and they don't understand what it is, but they're trying to describe it to you, but you're not listening? I got many scenarios. We can go down this path for a long time, but I try to keep this thing to 7 minutes. So I'm gonna wrap up this last little 30 seconds by just saying, be patient. Take your time and listen. Paint a vivid picture in your head about what people are trying to describe to you. And once that picture is painted in your head, then it becomes a better understanding. They always say the autistic is, smart in their own way. Well, that's because they have a vivid imagination of where they picture certain things. Sometimes to the extreme, sometimes not. Be blessed.